Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford. And joining us today as our opening kill, the wonderful, the fabulous, curious JoJo.
Yes.
Hello.
Once
Hi, JoJo.
again, for the second recording this month, with
Second one.
another Valentine's Day movie. You know what would be my meet cute? We just covered Companion. What would be my meet cute is having mental anguish that leads to a mental breakdown that creates a monster. And so my robot is a monster made from my own mental illness.
And we are here today to talk Your Monster. Melissa Barrera's movie from 2024. It was like her first, no. I was gonna say it was her first post-Scream horror movie, but no, it was not.
I think Abigail was. I don't know which
Abigail
one was
was,
filmed first, though.
But it,
Ian froze. Ian's a robot.
God, I like actually froze. I was like, what's the other movie? I watched.
It was filmed in
Your
Hoboken, New Jersey. Where's Hoboken from you?
That's like outside of New York,
Okay.
like 2 hours away from me. I watched in the same weekend Your Monster and Lisa Frankenstein, and they're like, they go well
Interesting.
together.
Okay, I could see them going well together, but I've seen a lot of this one versus that one. Which did you like better?
It's weird because there's things I like better about both of them. And I actually did like a background rewatch of Your Monster last night because I've noticed when I talk about them, I will still confuse things that happened in one. Like I was about to say that the fucking one of those twins from Riverdale was in this movie as the monster. That's why I froze. I was like, nope, that's not that movie. That's Lisa Frankenstein. I think I liked the ending of Lisa Frankenstein better than Your Monster. But I think overall, I was more charmed by Melissa Barrera's character in Your Monster than Catherine Newton, who is very charming in Lisa. Like, I liked the character better in Your Monster, her character.
JoJo, did you watch Lisa Frankenstein?
No, that's what I was about to ask you. Like, what was Catherine's character like in Lisa Frankenstein?
She's a little bit of a
was similar.
dickhead.
Okay.
They're similar. They're both, I mean, they both have a monster. And they both, I think they both have like a Frankenstein scene in them. And like reference Frankenstein. Lisa Frankenstein more clearly, obviously.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. But like Catherine Newton's character is supposed to be kind of a jerk. So that's why I like, and she does a good job because she's supposed to be like a dickhead. But Melissa Barrera's character for me was just like, I related to her immediately and wanted nothing but the best for her, which is maybe why I didn't love the ending overall, but I love the movie.
Lisa Frankenstein looks like it's a bigger scope than Your Monster as well.
A little bit, yeah. There's just more characters in Lisa Frankenstein too.
I haven't seen that. I keep meaning to, and it just like keeps
I like it.
It's got to be on Prime or something by now. So I should
Lisa
probably
Frankenstein?
check it out.
Yeah.
I think it's on Prime.
I didn't realize till after I watched it that Diablo Cody wrote it, which made more sense after I.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
That feels like a very Diablo Cody movie. I once went on a date to see that Diablo Cody movie with Charlize Theron. I don't remember what it was called. It was about like being an
Young
adult
adult.
or something. Yeah.
Young adult.
And sat just awkwardly holding a guy's hand for the entire movie. And just, I think both of us were too like nervous to either go a little bit more forward or pull our hands away. And so we just
You would have been like
Had
19 or
sweet
20,
palms.
right?
Yeah, I think I was 17. Maybe 18. Maybe 18. I don't know. One of those. But yeah, she's got a style. Yes, we're here to talk about Your Monster, though, and we made it a priority to talk about this one because we love Melissa Barrera, right? She is. I just want the best for her in everything. I want her to have such an amazing career, and she deserves
Absolutely.
it. And this was one of those movies that I don't feel like this movie would have done amazingly well, but it would not have done $800,000 well or $800,000 bad had she not been royally fucked over by a blacklisting in Hollywood.
I also just feel like this movie didn't have any promo.
Yes, which
I
I think
don't
is
remember.
probably attributed to that
Yeah.
blacklisting.
Yeah, I feel like I only knew about it because people on social talked about it, but I feel like I saw no trailers unless I looked it up. Like I feel like I looked up the trailer and that's how I saw it.
They released the trailer. It was in the festivals. Then they released the official trailer for us to see, and that was to the extent of the promo.
Yeah,
which is a shame because this movie, like, I do think deserved a lot
it
It was
did.
good.
more.
She deserved a lot more in this. Like, so, okay, I love what I was so surprised about because I love her acting anyway, and I love her presence. I think she has such great screen presence just as an
She
actress in
does.
general. But I truly had only seen her in a couple things, and those being like horror movies. So Scream 5 and 6, and then what was the Abigail? And I loved her in both of those, but she does play like a very similar role in both of those, where she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
my contact is flipping, man. Um, she plays like a very take no shit kind of like tough broad, right? Like she is. I would hide behind her in a horror movie, rather than protect her because she's gonna protect me.
Yeah.
She was her acting was so different in this, like completely different character than I've ever seen her play. Completely all over the place. Just like we opened with the most campy sort of. Oh, she had cancer too, so she's like getting out of the hospital. But the
I'm like,
most
I don't
camp,
know.
and
I
she
thought it
gets
was
and she gets
sad.
and she gets
That
broken up
opening was
with.
sad.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
very sad. But then
Immediately.
I'm going to when she gets back to her apartment and
Yeah,
she
then it gets
is
funny.
Okay, yeah.
like the campiest, sort of like crying, ordering Amazon packages, eating pie, and just like
Very us, Zach.
she fully committed to the bit.
She did.
Zach,
Well,
you're the one that sold me on. I mean, I wanted to see it anyway, but you
Mhm.
really sold me on it because you had said to me, I think like post one of our recordings, you were like, this is different than any role she's played before, and she's
Yeah.
really good in this like really different role. And that's kind of what like bumped it up as a more of a priority. Um, in my list of movies to watch at the end of the year of like ones I hadn't seen that year that I wanted to see. And I fully agree with you. I think, and this isn't a knock at anyone, but I feel like a lot of actors, especially now more so, kind of do. It's like they kind of just play the same thing, which I'm okay with. I don't mind. I know some people say that as critique, but it's like
I think
kind of
that's
like what I
how
said.
most actors are hired these days, is
Yeah,
to just
yes.
play a
mhm.
version of themselves.
And I thought this was like so different. It was wild. I was wondering, like, did she seek out this role? Because I can't imagine them being like, we want Melissa Barrera for this because it's not because she's not a good actor, but it's just so different than what she normally is cast as. So I was like wondering about that. Um,
I think
but
she
yeah,
comes from a theater
she
background.
does. She
Like
does.
when
Yes.
she was in Mexico too, she's done a lot of novelas, so
Yeah.
she can be able to do the dramatics and the singing and dancing. So
But
I think
like,
that
not to knock the novellas, but they're usually more like higher camp than like,
true. But she also there's an English language Spanish
oh,
show. I think it's on like
Vita,
Amazon
right?
maybe as well called Vida. I liked her. I haven't even finished that show, but I saw the first season and I really like her character in there. She plays a lesbian or either lesbian or bisexual. I can't even
Hmm.
remember right now.
And she's the main character.
Lesbian, carefree, wild,
Hmm.
free spirited. Like I'm just gonna have sex with these guys and enjoy my life because she's young and pretty. That was her character in that. Like I think her range is like really from like all over the place.
I
Like
just love
she's
it. I love
amazing.
seeing my favorite thing about an actor and like what I really get hooked by. And I was already hooked from I won't lie. I wasn't hooked from Scream 5. I liked her in Scream 5, but it was really
Yeah,
Scream 6 that
yeah,
did it for me. That I was like,
Yes.
agreed.
Agreed.
Melissa Barrera.
I was like, am I allowed to say that?
Um,
Because I was going to say that
but I
too.
didn't
No,
dislike
yeah,
her. I didn't
Yeah.
dislike her. I
she
just
was
thought that like
good,
I
but
liked
six was
Jenna
like,
Ortega more.
damn,
And in Scream
Yeah.
6, I'm more of a Melissa Barrera fan than I am a Jenna
yeah.
Ortega fan, I think. But I love
We don't
because
have to pit our
it's one
Hispanic
thing.
girls against
It's
each other.
one thing.
No.
I know we're not even throwing any of the white girls in there. It's one thing to enjoy an actress and want to see her. I love seeing actors really, really, really get to do something, and I feel like
Well,
this movie really gave Melissa Barrera a lot to do because there's not a whole lot in terms of plot and what's going on. I mean, I think one, two, three, four, five. There's five characters credited here on the Wikipedia page, so it all hinges on Melissa Barrera.
so I mean, not that there's so much to this character, but
Mm,
I was gonna say what you're saying reminds me of kind of like, and I know the three of us like this show, Agatha all along, because Catherine Hahn is like very clearly having fun as Agatha, and
mhm,
I think that's like very appealing. Watching being like this person's like having fun, and
mhm.
that is fun to watch when you can get that vibe just off like them pretending to be a character.
It just shows that she enjoys acting. Like she enjoys doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And this is like I need to go through her entire filmography at this point.
Watch
Um,
Vida.
I never watched In the Heights. Did you watch
You haven't
that one?
seen that? And
Mm-mm.
that's another
I
film that
just don't like
she does great
musicals.
in.
I just don't
I
like the
Again,
music.
musicals. I thought this film was actually gonna be a musical, so I
Yeah.
already went into it thinking it's like,
Oh, really?
I feel like I'm gonna like not be as hooked because it's gonna be music, music, music. I thought that because I didn't look into this movie too much. I'm trying like Zach does. I watched the trailer one time, and I don't
Mhm.
want to watch anything else anymore because I'm gonna go into the theater already having clips memorized,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so I don't want to see any of that. So I thought there was gonna be a bunch more music in this one,
Huh.
but it was not.
I
So
know.
that
I
was a
was
plus for me.
very pleasantly surprised there because I think I thought the same thing as you. I thought it was going to be more musical leaning, not
Yeah,
maybe a straight musical, but I appreciated that it really only called for music when her scenes called for music instead of
exactly.
her
In the
eating a
Heights, you gotta
pie
watch
and
In the
then
Heights.
starting
In the
to sing out of
Heights.
nowhere, you know?
Zach and I are maybe the only two people that loved Wicked, but could have
I
done
have my
without the
exceptions
songs.
to everything. Everything has an exception for me. I love
No,
Chicago, right?
I
But
get that.
mhm,
I kind of feel the same way. Like we went and saw Wicked. It was amazing. I was left
yeah.
speechless, but I did not go home and just wear out the album on
Yeah.
Spotify like the whole world was doing. I
I
My
don't know. I
brother,
was trying to
everyone's
do that.
listening to it,
No
but I'm not
rest.
doing it.
Oh, the
Yeah.
wicked. That was me. I did that.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I like Zach and I were even saying like I think we like called each other to talk about it, and I was like, this might sound bad because I did really love it, but and then you were like, oh my God, me
Oh,
too.
there's songs that
Like,
I keep meaning to make my own copy of it where I cut out the songs that I did not give a fuck about in Wicked because there's I far too long because of that music. There's only a few songs that I actually enjoyed in that.
yeah, same. But I actually thought this was going to be more horror. Like I thought it was like
Oh,
this
Really?
that too.
monster's.
I thought it was both. Yeah. Hmm.
I thought it was like this monster's like murdering people around
Yeah.
her to like. I still
Maybe
knew it was like they're kind of in love, but I thought it would be like he's going to be killing everyone around
mhm.
her.
More
I thought we were gonna get a
darker,
lot
more
more
macabre, maybe.
more Beauty and the Beast, you know? Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a lot of Beauty and the Beast vibes, but they didn't
Yeah.
really lean into that enough for me. Like I kind of wanted the big although, you know what? I won't even shit on that. I wanted the big ball gown moment, but we
her
had
fr-
that
her
with the Frankenstein outfit,
the
her
Frankenstein
Bride
look
of
was
Frankenstein outfit, yeah.
she looked fantastic.
Hmm.
I almost felt like that was a little out of character because she looked so good. And the whole movie had been like she can barely put herself together. And then it's like, where'd she get all this makeup and these outfits from?
And the big ass
But
townhouse that she's living in, the brownstone that she just happens to have. I don't really remember what because it's been a little bit since I've seen this, so I don't
Hmm.
remember why people aren't there.
they have like a passing line where it's like
Hmm.
her friend says that her mom is never there. And then like her mom's
Bring
never
Okay,
her
there.
childhood
sure,
home.
easy little explainer in the script because we don't need too much of that.
And
But
like it did, I will say at the start, I was a little like, all right, but wouldn't her mom like send her a, even if she's a shitty mom, like send her a text to be
I
like,
thought everybody was
Cooking.
shitty to her in this, and it makes sense why the friend was shitty by the end, right? But like, I was like,
Mhm.
what the fuck is wrong with this friend? Why are you clinging so hard to this shitty ass friend who cancer. She had cancer. Got broken up with by her boyfriend. Like, had all the stones thrown at her, and her friend can't stick around for an afternoon to watch a little bit of Love Island with her.
which is
I
a
think that
shame.
just shows her character. That's just
Yeah.
Melissa's like that shows who she was as a person. Like she just felt she looked at herself so little. Like there
Hmm.
was like she had a horrible relationship, horrible friends. No one's in her life. Her mother's not there. She has cancer. I mean, it just speaks volumes as to who she thought of her as
It's
herself. You know,
sad.
like it was
So
yeah, very sad, very nothing.
I related it to me after my ex-boyfriend died because like
Okay.
I actually appreciated at first that the friend was kind of like very nonchalant because as Zach knows, I do kind of like that. If like you could be a little jokey with me about this terrible thing I've been through and like I like that. I do that's like for me comforting. But then it was that she was a terrible friend. But after my ex-boyfriend died, I like had a few friends that I would see all the time that like actually were bad people, did not ever talk about my ex dying, did not really care. But
Oh
at
wow.
the moment, being sad, that kind of helps because it's like, oh, I can just pretend nothing bad has happened and we're just gonna go out drinking and it's fine. Like, so I like understood why she like stuck
She
with that
wouldn't even
friend.
go out for drinking with her. She wouldn't
I
even
know.
invite her out drinking or
But it's
anything.
like sometimes you think that's good. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
good and this woman was a bad friend, but like you think like, well, I don't have to think about it when I'm with this person. So like I could relate to that part.
Yeah. I
Um,
think, yeah. And she played that
I
really well. Again,
I like the
acting.
twist that Megan Fahey from White Lotus was actually like,
A nice person.
yeah, I really liked that it
I
was
did
like, oh,
too. That
she's like
was a nice
stealing her role, but
surprise.
then is
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for just everybody fucking sucks at
Yeah.
this, and we're gonna kill everybody with this monster, with this yardstick at the end.
I,
We're gonna full on the substance of this bitch and spray everybody in the audience with blood. But no, I did like that she what was her name in this? Jackie, yeah.
Megan,
Jackie,
Jackie.
I love that Jackie was just so great. Like I wanted them to like, get drinks or something or
yeah.
get together a little bit.
Yeah, I really like when like a story does that where it like turns it on its head where like he was flirting with her, but she was just like, what are you talking about? And it wasn't ended up not being her fucking him, but he still did flirt with her a lot.
Yeah.
But that was kind of out of her hands. It's not like she was making him or anything. And I really do like when we defy like the trope. Because right, she like in any other movie, she would have been the mean girl and
Oh
like
It'd
yeah,
have been like a Black Swan situation, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the Mila Kunis of it.
she's the young
yeah,
one. She's the pretty one. She's the
Mhm.
bitch.
yeah, yeah.
Are they supposed to be about the same age? Or like what is the age difference of
I
them?
did have trouble knowing what age it because I see Melissa Barrera as younger, even
I
though I
thought
know
Melissa Barrera
she's
was supposed to be the younger one. Yeah, they're the same age, both of them.
Are
Okay.
they?
Well,
Would you guys have auditioned for your ex's musical play?
see, okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this, right? Because it was her musical. This is hers too, and I would have a
I
hard time
mean,
letting this shit go.
she
I would
was so
have to
she
be
was so
there.
cool with letting it go though. It's just
She
like
regretted it
how
though, but
much of it
that's
was hers, and again that just speaks to again her character.
yeah.
She just didn't care about anything, whatever.
especially
She
But
when you're
just
like super depressed.
she
yeah, she was
couldn't.
super depressed. But the fact that he broke up with her and she's
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna go audition for
Yes.
his play and show my face after I just got in remission and you just broke up with me. Would you do that? Like,
I
And
would
it
go there to
I
speaks
fight
don't fuck
him.
that. I don't
it's
have the balls to do that.
it speaks to how passive she was too, and I think that's
Yeah,
why the monster was such a necessity, and why the monster ended up
Hmm.
coming out of the closet is because it had to teach her to step up for herself, right? And she wouldn't have gone to that audition had the monster not come out,
True.
and because she was just too passive, she let whole play that she helped develop go, and I would have a very hard time with that. I would have a very hard time needing to fucking audition. Period.
Right.
I would need to
no
know my legal
auditioning.
recourse
I'm not
here. Yeah,
auditioning.
yeah. What is intellectual property with this bitch? Because I might need to see a lawyer. I live in a brownstone by myself. I might have a little bit of money to go and hire a lawyer.
I mean, also even when the monster comes out, right? He's like, you can stay, but you got to be gone in 2 weeks, and she's just like, okay.
Ugh.
And it's like, this is your house,
Ugh.
girl.
Yeah, she's like, I have 2 weeks. Okay. What did you guys think of the monster? Like his character, his energy. I'll tell you real quick, I was so turned off by him. He was
Yeah.
giving me very much like Seth Rogen, broy, like dick face and like cum shot and like suck my dick kind of like energy, whatever. It's like, ugh,
That impression was so good.
Yeah, but
thank you. He was
that
very much
works
like,
on me
oh yeah,
sometimes. So
fuck that guy,
something
and
like that.
you should go to like it just. I was cringing. I was like, oh, I can't stand the way
Something
they
like that
made.
works on me though. I was hoping he was gonna be a little bit cuter in the monster makeup because I was ready to be a monster fucker after watching this movie, right? I was ready to like be into it. And I
Yeah,
wasn't. Yeah, no.
I mean,
I don't think I fell for him.
to agree with Zach, that also would work on me. But the monster was gross. But I thought the monster was just at the top. He was too mean, and but
he was a little aggressive with
I
her.
said this to Zach when I visited him and Alistair when we watched Interview with a Vampire. I always want to say Vampire Slayer when I say that title.
Interview
Interview
with a
with a
vampire.
That's the fan fiction I write, where I'm interviewing Buffy. But in Interview with a Vampire, they are very toxic from the beginning, right?
Mhm.
There's no part where it's like, oh, this is lovey-dovey and cute. It's like, no, this is terrible. I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get into it. I think we watched like 2 or 3 episodes together, or something like that, Zach.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're so toxic. I don't know that I'm going to buy this. By the end of the
I
season, I was
never have a question
crying.
about toxic. My very first example of a gay relationship was Beecher and Keller in Oz, and they were toxic as fuck. Keller broke Beecher's arms at one point, and they still ended up together eventually. So toxic never, deters me. I'm always into a toxic. So him telling her that she has to get out of her own fucking townhouse, it's like did nothing to
Yeah, but
deter
like
that.
you got to be hot, and like there's got to be the hot part, and he was not.
Well, I was
He
waiting
was
for
like,
the
oh,
hot part. I figured it was
yeah, he
gonna
was
come,
just
but it
like,
never did.
but I actually by the end I appreciated that we didn't have like a hot trend. I appreciated when they like do have their sex scene that we like they make sure to show he has like fur. It's not just like a
Yeah.
hairy dude.
I
It's
was
Which
like
still
was also
expecting like
like,
big
ugh.
fucking pecs and titties and big like biceps and shit. Like I was waiting for the shirtless scene and
Zach
it never
wanted
came
Mason
for
Gooden
me.
Jr.
I wanted I wanted practical effects budget spent on the muscles of
They
the
want a furry
monster.
ass and just big
Oh
tits.
man, if they had shown a furry ass, it'd have been over. It'd have been over.
But
That's that sex scene. Go
Mm,
ahead. What
again,
you mean?
I appreciate I appreciate that we didn't do that. I appreciate that it was like, no, he's a gross monster. Like
Mhm.
he's not hot. He probably stinks. Like I appreciated that it didn't be like, well, now she loves him because he's hot. And it's like, no, she's very lonely, and this man is now being good to her. Because that 100% always works on me when someone is mean, but they're good to me. It's like, oh, that person's a dickhead, but they like
kill
me.
everybody else but me. They're not gonna
That
kill me.
Zach knows from a lot of my crushes who can be assholes, but it's like, ooh, but like I cracked the code. Like there was like a jokey tweet going around that I was like, well, this is me, where it was like, yeah, he's manipulative, but he picked me to manipulate. That's me.
Mm.
So not Tyler
Mm.
Mead.
What did you guys think about that sex scene? I thought it was hilarious, but
I thought it was
uncomfortable.
funnier than it was,
And the movie didn't
sexy.
merit a
Yeah,
sex
it
scene,
wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
right? Like I thought
mm,
like it fit with the movie. It was like campy and silly.
it was campy and silly. You know what I really appreciated about the monster was that it really didn't answer whether it was all in her head or it was like a
it did not.
manifestation that like was real, right?
Right.
And I liked that. I liked that you could take it either way. I think it leans more towards all being in her head because of the end and the the yardstick and all of that, but it could just as easily be a real monster that poofs into existence when is needed by her,
I
right?
at first thought that and then was like, oh no, I'm wrong.
Hmm.
But then at the very end, I was like, wait a minute, was I right?
Hmm.
But like I fully like going into the end, I was like, oh no, I was there's no interpretation here. There is a monster at her house that she fucked.
Same.
But then yeah, with the way the things happened, I was like, wait a minute.
It could just be other way. That's the thing. Is
But
like
also
it could be.
I really didn't like the ending,
Mhm.
which is says a lot that I still can say I like the movie because usually if I don't like an ending, that can kill a like movie or book for me. But I did still love this movie. I didn't
Well,
like that Megan Fahey gave her the like was the one person that was nice to her.
yeah.
And then the guy even lets her in and is like, don't fuck this up for me. And she does. She like fucks it up for the very few
Because you
people that
want
were
her to
nice to her.
win, and I think that's what I loved about her and about the monster, and because I kind of agree with you. I didn't hate the ending, but I loved that the monster was sort of that metaphor for taking charge and like she's been letting people walk all over her. She's been way too passive. All these people fuck her over. And the monster comes out and she starts taking charge. She gets the role that she wants. She stands up to the guy. She finally like gets her fucking voice heard and gets out there and
Yeah.
gets in it. And it's about overcoming and overcoming. And I don't often love, or I do often love, but I guess more rarely don't love it. And I think this would be one of those cases where I don't love it, where we end the movie with the character worse than
Yes.
she
Yep.
started. And
That's
she
the problem
did,
that I
because
have
she's
with
now
it.
she's a murderer and
And in front of everyone. It's
don't
not
lose the
like,
brownstone.
yeah.
All I
We're
can think
rooting
about
for
is the fucking
her.
brownstone. I'm like, don't lose the brownstone.
Yeah, like we're rooting for her, and she's gone through all this trauma. It's like, all right, now we're at the end, and now we've made her into like, what is this? Is she a psycho now? She's
Right.
she's murdered. Like now she has this horrible, sad ending. Like I wanted her to win at the very, very
Yes.
end, still succeed because she deserved it. So
Yeah.
it ends with like, all right, now she's a psychopath, and it's kind of sad.
I would have even been more okay if she killed them not in front of people and it was like, oh, she can get away with this. Like, I would have been more okay if like she murdered her ex, but it was like backstage in the
Yeah.
dark and like she was able to frame somebody else for it. That's okay. But she
Hmm.
murdered him in front of people and like there's no like question of who did it. It's
And I was
she's
so
standing
rooting for her
there.
because she gave such a great performance. And I'm like, this is
Yeah.
wonderful. Like, she's going to be a star, baby. And no.
That's literally what I wrote in my notes. Melissa is a star.
Yeah, I that was the only literally the only thing I didn't like about the movie because I was like, but now she goes to jail forever because she did murders on stage and did.
Unless her and the monster have a getaway car and they're, on the run now.
I mean, she could just like very quickly go back to her brownstone and live in the closet
Go
with
in the
him.
closet. They both just crawl behind the clothes.
Theoretically, no one else could find it.
I mean, at that point, just live in your head, girl, because prison's gonna be rough. You know,
Right? Like,
like I
yeah,
said, the
I
cancer made me do it.
The horror aspect of this film, I mean, what scenes were horror per se, besides the scene where he finally pops out and
Hmm.
we see him kill the ex?
They
That
do
was
have
like the
good
most
setup scenes, I think. Like when at the beginning when she's like suspecting that something is in the house, and we keep seeing her like go
okay. There
upstairs,
was yeah.
and we get a little bit of that, and then she wakes up and it's later, and she doesn't
that
really
did
know
stress
how
me
she
out a
got to
little bit.
bed, and it did, and I like a build up like that always really works for me.
Yeah.
But I think we let go of that and then don't really revisit the horror.
We don't.
Mhm.
I can't think of another scene that was, scary or suspenseful or
No, agreed.
creepy, I guess,
I guess it's
until he
like
pops out of the wall, and kills
horror
him.
coded. Like technically, it still is horror because of the monster and because of like all of that, but just not frightening.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
Hmm. It was definitely more rom-com than horror.
Which I didn't mind. I actually
yeah.
I appreciated that still,
It was like rom-com fairy tale.
Yes. And you know what?
And I
Melissa Barrera deserves a fair. If we're gonna make her a scream queen and demand that she's in all these scary movies, we've got to let her have the scope of it, right? She needs a rom
Mhm.
com horror
Yeah,
and an action horror, and give her all of it.
yeah, yeah.
She's filming something right now with what's his name? Simu Liu?
Oh,
Mm.
I
I
love
don't know.
that.
I'll be
Yes, they're
there. I'm
they're
gonna be
they're
So,
there
doing
watching.
something. I think there's a more cast as well, like maybe like an ensemble cast. But there were some pictures of on Twitter of
Is
her
it
and
the?
him holding hands, walking down the street because they were filming something together.
I'll
But
see
I
it.
can't
Yeah.
think of it. I don't remember the name of it. But there is something right now being done with her.
Mm.
So she's busy. She's
She
she's
is
definitely
busy, and I
working.
think that maybe it's too hopeful, but I'll be hopeful anyway, I guess. But I think that
Be hopeful.
she is still being appreciated as an actress, and I think people are
Absolutely.
going to start stepping over whatever blacklist has been attempted and hiring her. I don't think she's about to like hurt for work.
I don't think so either. Maybe for a moment there might have been a small period of time for her that was affected, but I
Hmm.
mean I think people have moved on. Besides obviously some crazy Twitter fans. Besides that, like the general consensus is like we've moved past that. She's
yeah, I think
moving on
so.
with her life.
Hmm.
She's continuing to work, and we're just gonna continue to support her. So
Absolutely, I'm going to
Copenhagen
see
is the name of
whatever
the
she's in
movie.
it. What is it?
Copenhagen with Simu Liu.
Copenhagen. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
It's
is
it
yeah,
that a
says it's a
TV
TV
movie?
series.
Hmm.
is it a
Yeah.
series? I don't
An
remember.
It says
upcoming
it's an eight.
science
Sorry,
fiction
guys.
espionage thriller.
Yeah,
Is that what it
James
is?
Wan.
first generation analyst realizes his brain's hacked, allowing access to his senses. Stuck between the agency and hackers, he acts normal to reveal the culprits.
Well, I don't love the science fiction techno, but I will
Not
be
Zach's
here,
favorite.
Melissa Barrera. I will be here.
They're both hot.
Hey,
Absolutely.
hey.
Wait, Zach, did was this too short?
How long has this been?
I think it's only been 15 minutes.
No,
That's okay. We can have a
Didn't
short
didn't we
episode.
start
We
at
can have a mini.
9:45?
I
we
don't
want
know.
to talk some more.
We can have a mini. Yeah, we can talk about whatever.
But right there, I
There's
think we
there's
started
only like five characters in this motherfucking movie.
I think we started at 9:45.
Okay, so we're gonna
So,
try to come up
yeah.
with stuff to talk about, y'all.
I wrote
Let me
down
look at
some. I'm trying to write down. I wrote some notes to about this movie to see
Do you
if
think she's
you
coming back to Scream ever?
for Scream. I
We can cut
sure
it out
hope
if we feel
so.
uncomfortable putting it out there, but
I
I
sure
think
hope
there's a
so.
chance. I think there's a chance.
Yeah, for the next one.
Yeah, I think because of how many people they're getting, and they've got to be throwing down a lot of money for these returning people. I think and I hope that if she does get it, she gets all the fucking money she possibly can out of them
yes. Oh
because she would
yes.
deserve that. Um, and honestly, I feel like Jenna Ortega is so famous that she probably would not want to,
She's probably
even
ready to
if
be
they
killed off.
offered.
I think this last one she was ready to get killed off, and
I was talking about this with my friend Kirsten, and she was like, I think Jenna Ortega would only come back one if they paid her a lot of money, and two if they killed her, because then she doesn't have to do it again.
Mm.
And I kind of agree with that. I would rather them not come back than one of them come back to die, because I feel like those sisters deserve their nice
I don't
happy
know.
ending.
No, see, you know what? Because we need more characters that we need more stakes, and I think the Scream franchise has gotten too safe, and I think Jenna Ortega's character would be a perfect one to kill and bring those stakes up.
I
if
think
they both have to come back and kill Jenna.
Hmm.
That would be so emotional.
Sam can't die
no,
though, because I like
No, not
because
Sam. I want Sam to watch her sister die. I know that
yes, and
sounds
then
so
radicalize her.
terrible. Yes, it'd be more effective.
I don't know. Sam has been like had a really rough. She has no one but Jenna Ortega's character. So
I
Yeah, put her
mean,
in a bad
look
mindset.
what they
This is
did to
what worked.
Sydney.
This is what worked to Sam for Sam is that Sam was always like kind of put out there as the anti-Sydney, the one who could go to the dark side, but we haven't. She hasn't done it, but you could very much see her playing with the dark side. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that just works for her. So maybe sending her over the edge a little bit. I don't know. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. You,
We
you,
could see
Ian,
some of that for the
let
next
her
one.
play. This is an actress. She needs to be able to. Okay, so kind of finishing up, what life event is going to trigger your monster, Ian and JoJo? I already know Ian's
Life
vote.
event.
Mm.
Gosh, so much
Um,
happened to me.
mm,
Mm.
I think mine would probably be. I go into like triggering moments when everything piles on at once. That's when I can't really like handle stuff and my brain doesn't think straight. And so that's when I would be clocked into that closet and something would be coming out. But it would be a handsome monster, really big pecs, really nice, big, juicy, hairy ass. Yes. But like the hair wouldn't be too much
No,
on the muscly body because I need to be able to see the curves. Yes.
agreed.
Zach, what was your answer for me gonna be?
Well,
What'd you
shit.
say?
I mean, I feel like
Zach
it
said you
started
said
when Chris died. That's when it first came out of the monster or out of the closet.
I was gonna be like, can it be one of the 85 terrible things that's happened to me already that would have triggered
Sure.
my
Yes.
monster?
The monster
My
didn't never
mom,
went. The monster never went back in the closet for Ian. The
my
monster is
mom
sitting on Ian's bed right
dying
now.
the same day, 8 years later that my ex-boyfriend died. Probably if he hadn't already been triggered, that ups when we were watching a movie that night, he would have come out of that fucking closet and be like, "What are you guys watching?
I don't know. The
I'm here
monster left.
again."
The monster left Ian.
Yeah,
It's
the
just what
monster
we'll
was
say.
like, "There's too much going on here. You're a lot of work.
Uh,
I'm going to find another closet.
yeah. What about
I
you,
think
JoJo?
I
Stay
mean,
blessed."
my quick answer would probably be my parent as well. Probably my dad.
Hmm.
If like, God forbid, like knock on someone here the day he passes. I would say that'd probably be a monster triggering moment for
Yeah.
me.
Would it be a hot monster or
Oh,
are you going
I
ugly?
I I'm sad, right?
Yeah.
I need to feel better.
Need some
I need to feel
release.
better,
Yeah.
right? So my
Hmm.
monster's gonna come make me feel better. So yes, he's absolutely gonna be,
Uh-huh.
coin.
There you
Coin
go.
as fuck.
Same question to all of y'all watching and listening. But thank you so much, JoJo, for coming on. This is the time to
Absolutely,
promote
guys.
anything and everything you got. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I am JoJo Cortes.
Yes. And yeah, let us know what you thought about what is this one? I keep wanting to say companion. Your monster.
Monster.
I keep
And
wanting to say Lisa Frankenstein, so
Lisa Frankenstein, your monster Cortez companion. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time.